Hey guys, it's Corey and Garrett here. We've got a little Will It Run project for y'all today. It is a 1977 GMC 6500 truck. It's got a 366 big block in it. So far what we've done is we've loaded on a trailer, well, bought it from a guy, loaded it and took it out here, and then we just pulled the spark plugs, put a little bit of transmission fluid down the cylinders and let that sit for a few days. So that's the extent of what we've done so far to it. It does turn over. It makes a full rotation. We've done that a few times after soaking it. Turns over smooth. We can hear compression when we're turning it over, so we do believe that this is a runner. Long term, we're probably gonna get this thing running and throw it in Garrett's F-150, the engine at least, but for now, we might just drive it around as a big old grain truck. This thing's got a 20-foot flatbed, 22, something like that, 20-foot flatbed on it. It's got the duals. It's a 2-speed axle. It's got a, what is this? 5-speed standard transmission. Interior is questionable. The rats have been living in here. Lots
less than mint,
and lots of rat feces, but she's drivable. She's drivable. Got all the windows in it, and that's always good. Missing the handle. We don't have a key yet, so we're gonna have to figure that out in a minute here. Do some hot wiring, but we're gonna try to get it running today. We're gonna try to get it running today. It's about 3 o'clock on a Sunday. See what we can do. So
I think the first thing we're gonna do is take this carb off, see if we can't clean it. Maybe take that distributor off. I did buy new distributor wires and spark plugs for it.
yeah, these old wires, they were
The rubber just
a little bit degraded. I guess we forgot to mention this thing hasn't ran in 20 years. It's been parked in a field for 20 years. There's a tag on the windshield right there that says 2000. So 21 years maybe. But as you can see, carburetor, if we can see down in there, it's got some, to be honest, I don't know what those are. Eggs?
Egg! Yeah, they laid it in the crate.
Egg!
They're little white balls.
Snake eggs?
It really looks like snake eggs to me, but I couldn't tell you what those are. I've seen them everywhere, but I don't know what they are. But for the most part, the parts do move. I think the throttle down here.
Throttle was stuck, but you put some WD-40 on it.
Yeah, I greased it up a couple days ago.
She moves now.
She's moving.
So,
but we're gonna pull the whole thing off before we even try to run it, and clean it out real good on the inside, so we don't suck all those egg things into the engine.
the wiring is also questionable, so we're gonna have to look at all the wiring.
Wiring is very questionable on this truck. Someone has redone and fixed and spliced and added and all kinds of stuff. It's got hydraulic brakes, no booster, just regular old brakes. But it's mostly complete, missing an alternator, but everything else is here. Should run. We're gonna try to clean this carb out, and we'll get back with y'all in a minute. All right, so we just got carburetor off. Garrett is gonna start disassembling that, cleaning it out. We got the hood off, we just shoved it up there. But these spark plugs here, and I don't know if this is a common thing or not, but since this is a 366, it's kind of a more rare motor, I guess. Parts store really couldn't find the engine in their system to find the correct spark plugs, but we took the old ones and they were able to kind of look up the numbers. But if you compare them and you look, the old ones compared to the new ones, these new ones are a little bit taller, or they stick down further into the cylinder. So we're not sure if this is a problem, but we're slightly concerned that maybe the pistons might hit that. I mean, I don't think they'll be that close, but what I've done is I put one spark plug in it. I'm gonna make one full rotation of the engine, and I'm just gonna confirm that the piston's not hitting these spark plugs because they're longer. They're the same number, but they're just a little bit longer.
These are plugs from a 454, I think is what he told us.
Oh yeah, these are from a 454
So,
engine, but
Not sure if
they have the same numbers. So we're gonna find out, see if they work. All right, so I've got my ratchet on the crankshaft down here, and I've just got a little short 3/8 ratchet, but this thing still turns over pretty, see if I can film it down in there, pretty easily, just with a short little ratchet. And you can almost hear, maybe if you can almost hear the compression in there. Might not pick it up on camera, but you can definitely hear it. So we do think this engine is in pretty good health. So I've just pulled that spark plug back out after rotating the engine over, and it's still good. So we're clear for these. They're gonna work. Still getting the carburetor cleaned out. All the parts are moving, but there's some corrosion, some buildup. So we might have to go get ourselves maybe a carb rebuild kit or something. We'll see what we can do with it. Bring it back to life. So I've got the carburetor taken apart and put back together. Wasn't a deep clean, but everything should function now. We've got the choke moving now. The throttle is opening the proper butterfly valves down there.
Hey, this isn't the plug that goes into that, is it?
Looks like it is, actually.
Could be.
So yeah, we did have this plug that was broken off of it we were looking for. We're not sure if that's going to... So we got the diaphragm. The diaphragm is intact. It actually looks good in there, and it moves and opens the, I guess it's the accelerator valves or butterfly valves. But it's got this electronic solenoid on it with the plug just broken off. It looks like it's been broken off for a while, so I don't know if they were running it like that or if that's the reason it was parked. Who knows? Maybe it'll run without that. I don't know. If y'all know, let us know down in the comments if y'all know anything about these carburetors. We've never messed with carburetors, so this is all really new to us. As far as I've messed with is just like ATV carburetors, but this is a whole different ball game. But if y'all know, let us know down in the comments if this solenoid is something that we have to control this vacuum line, or if not. Maybe it does something different. I don't know. We're getting the new spark plug wires in. We got the cap. We got this side all in. Garrett's working on the other side. I'm about to try to hotwire ourselves a redneck ignition system since we don't have a key. We could try to jump the cylinder on the starter, but that's a pain. If I can get some sort of wires underneath the dash connected up the right way, I think we can see if this thing will turn over. All right, so we have been putting stuff back together. We ran a new starter positive wire, the main positive wire down to the starter, because the old one was, well, extremely frayed,
Shorting out on the
yeah,
frame, everything.
exposed wires. So we're trying to figure out a way to, you know, get ignition with the key because we don't have the key. And I was looking, and you can see right here that the battery, the ignition wire and the battery, I think it's the generator or the alternator wire, are melted together. They're basically fused with a whole, all these wires have been melted basically, and it goes all the way up into the dash, all the way to the key switch, and the key switch itself has been melted. So there's no hope of us being able to hotwire that. Luckily, since we don't have an alternator right now, I have the alternator charge wire. So we were just thinking we could take this charge wire, which has 12 volts going to it, and we could jump to the starter solenoid post, which is this one right here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we can actually see if the starter works in this truck real quick and see if she'll turn over under her own power. So let's see what happens. Oh yeah. So it works. The starter works. That's good news. I think our battery's a little bit dead. We'll hook it up to my truck here in a minute. But it turns over. That's really good. Now we're gonna try to jump this is the ignition wire, the melted one. We're gonna try to jump it to straight to the battery wire. This post is just putting off constant 12 volts from the battery. We're gonna probably bolt it directly, maybe not bolt it, but just put it on there to where we can pull it off if we need to. And that should power up our ignition system, and then it might run. So we'll be back in a little bit. Our redneck ignition system consists of the ignition wire shoved onto the battery positive so that I can just yank it off. Well, I say that, I can yank it off if we need to turn the engine off, but until then it's pretty solid. And then I use this wire from the alternator to hit the starter solenoid, and then we got ourselves a little fuel pump, fuel tank mechanism. It's a water bottle, some water line going to the vent tube on the carburetor. So we turn this up, fills it up, starts to bubble out. Okay, the bowls are full now. We don't know if the fuel pump works. It's disconnected right now in case there's some nasty fuel it starts spitting out. We don't want that going in the carburetor. But she is a runner, so she's full now. We can see if it'll idle right here. We got ignition on. Oh yeah. Oh, pump it. Our accelerator, if I switch this, you can see our accelerator pump is kind of working. Let's give her, I don't know if I need to choke it or not. It's still kind of cold. Give her some choke. Oh yeah, throttle. Whoa. Yeah. See if it'll idle. Oh, she's idling. Oh, not for long. Well, she's definitely a runner. She idles a little bit, smokes a lot from all that ATF that we dumped down in it, but that's good. But the idle circuit is not. Pump it. Maybe we should give it a little bit of choke. She is cold.
20 years cold.
Yeah. Pump it. Fill it.
Crank it. Oh yeah. Keep going. Oh.
Shouldn't have used that. Yeah, it's still full.
She is smoking, boy. Oh yeah. She's burning a lot of oil in that thing. Just been sitting that long.
She almost idles.
Wow. That's insane. Well, we did it.
Now what are you gonna do? Drive it up on the trailer and take it to the junkyard.
We're gonna pull. So now we are trying to open the factory fuel tank, and we're gonna see if we can get this thing to run off of its own fuel pump. All the lines are intact. Checking to see what's in the tank. If it looks good enough, we might put some gas in it. See if it'll pump. If not, we'll rig up something to a gas can, and we'll see if we can drive it around the pasture for y'all. See what happens. You get that thing open, Garrett?
I'm trying.
It's tight, boy. Take a walk around on this thing. all the tires have wind in them. They had some. They all had a little bit. It's got that 2-speed axle. They put a little electronic switch that's on the shifter in there, so you can, I guess it's a 5-speed, but with the axle, it's a 10-speed, I guess. It's an old grain truck. The guy that owned it was a farmer. He used to haul fertilizer, I think. Grain, fertilizer. He said he would put a lot of weight on this thing, and it would pull it. And I don't know. I believe he said he was the only owner. Maybe there was another one. But he said it ran fine until he sold his fertilizer business and then parked it.
Looks
So
dry to me.
Looks dry in there?
Looks absolutely bone dry.
See
So
if we can
maybe
take a
if we put some fuel in there, it'll
Yep. The flashlight ain't working.
see if you.
Does it look very rusty
see the
in
bottom
there?
there. No, not really.
So we might put some
It's
fuel in
puny,
it.
which looks like, I don't know if that means it was trying to pump out of there or if that's just left over.
We might try and fill it up here for y'all guys. We tried putting fuel in the factory tank, ran it for a little while, and it would not pick up anything. So right now, Garrett's underneath it. We're disconnecting the line from the fuel pump that goes to the factory tank. And we are running a new line here.
I'm gonna try to run it up so we can set the
Run it
can.
up. All right. Then we're gonna shove this line. So this is the pickup. This came from the fuel tank, and then that goes out to the engine. So we're gonna run this into just a gas can and run the engine for a little while and see if we can get it to pick up out of a can and see what that does. I don't have any hose clamps, so I'm gonna try to use a good zip tie to keep it from leaking. We'll see what happens here. We'll get back with you in a minute. All right, guys, it's getting late into the night, but we have rigged up our gas can to the fuel pump. And as you can see by the large amount of fuel everywhere, it works. The fuel pump on this engine does pump. So we're gonna tighten this back up onto the carburetor and then see if we can actually get it to idle. Well, I'll just keep y'all with us for a second here. Got that tight, Garrett?
Yeah, got it stripped now.
Oh, you stripped it out.
I'm just kidding.
It's even tighter. All right, let me try and fire it up here. I had to yank my
Once it started
ignition system off. Yeah, once it started
fuel.
spraying fuel, I had to yank that off real quick. She's back on. And let me get the old starter switch. Touch it to this bad boy right here. Oop. Oh, wow, she started good. See if I can give her some throttle. Oh! It's not doing anything. It's leaking real bad. Man,
It ain't coming out of here.
hang on,
Oh,
let me see
yeah.
this. Let me see this
Hold on.
carburetor adjuster. Yeah, let me just adjust on this carburetor a little bit. Yeah, it's leaking real bad. It's leaking over there too. Oh! Man, sometimes it wants to work.
Tighten that up real quick.
Let me turn it off. Shut it down real quick. Nice. It's leaking over there somewhere too. Someone has JB welded the, looks like the fuel inlet for there, and there's JB weld there, and there's JB weld on that one. So
Not sure why.
yeah, I don't know about these carburetors again, so that could be something. Let's see, what the hell? I hate these damn things. Let's see if I can get a good grip on it.
That should be good. Should be tight enough.
Well, let's see. Let's see if we can fire it back up. It was accelerating every now and again, which makes me think, I'm not sure, but something to do
it
with the
could be.
accelerator pump.
Well, we
Is-
did switch the timing on it. Maybe
Well,
it's
we
messed
found a
with-
few wires that were switched from the first time we started it up. Supposedly, we looked up a firing order that said those were switched, but it's kind of weird because it ran before.
and it
It
runs
still
now.
runs now. But we don't know if it's
So-
fully good. Oh! No leaks? Okay, some leaks.
Yeah, same amount of leaks.
Same amount of leaks. That's like full throttle, but it's not.
That is rough.
Not giving it full. Something is not working. Oh! Worked for a second there. Man, every now and then we have something with the accelerator. Man, it's leaking too bad. I gotta shut this down. We're getting gas everywhere. We're gonna start a fire for sure. We're pushing our luck right now. All right, well, she's a runner now.
Guess there's only one more thing to do.
There's only one more thing to it.
Give her a little rest.
Okay.
We're moving, guys. We're giving the beans. In reverse now. Whoa. Oh boy, she's on her own power. Barely. She's barely on her own power. Killing it. Woo. Wow.
I don't think you're supposed to be doing that.
What? Yeah, she sounds like she's got a cam in her, but I think it's because she's down a couple cylinders. But she moves. The transmission.
The old Bruce works.
The old Bruce works. Transmission works. We went forward and we went backwards. That's all you need, really. We just got rained out trying to film some more videos on this 77 GMC, but let us know down in the comments what kind of other types of videos you'd like us to see. We can use this truck. We've got some other vehicles we can use, some ATVs. So just let us know what type of videos you want us to make, and
We'll get her done, old son.